Today I will be sharing with you information on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I will discuss its early history, what it is, and what functions it pursues in terms of monitoring the state of the economy. I will go more in depth in my presentation of 3 specific areas in which the Bureau of Labor Statistics analyzes data, being the Producer Price Index, known as the PPI, the Consumer Price Index, known as the CPI, and trends in employment and unemployment. To begin, we will briefly consider the history behind the establishment of this bureau. Prior to the founding of the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 1884, the Labor Statistics Bureaus existed at the state level, but the labor movement, including unions and state commissioners of labor statistics, sought the establishment of a permanent federal bureau to gather data on a nationwide basis. It was speculated that such data would provide an accurate account of the state of unemployment within the country and help the cause of labor in policymaking. By the 1800s, politicians joined a drive for a federal bureau, and in 1884, the Bureau of Labor Statistics was established. In its early history, the agency was viewed as a puzzle piece in the movement toward social reform. In addition to the agency's mission of providing data on the state of the economy, it also played a part in collective bargaining and labor disputes. At this point in its existence, the BLS gathered information on working conditions and would investigate and report on labor disputes within the country. The Bureau Commissioner is appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate to a term of 4 years. The first elected commissioner of the BLS was Carroll Wright, born in New Hampshire in 1840. Born the son of a minister and farmer, Wright went on to serve as a colonel during the Civil War and later entered politics, where he served 2 terms in the Massachusetts Senate. The Bureau has since evolved from its early existence as an agency to benefit the labor movement to a now neutral agency providing public information on the overall health of the economy. Today, the BLS is often referred to as the research arm of the Department of Labor, as it is the principal fact-finding organization for the federal government in the field of labor economics. Data is collected on variables such as employment and unemployment, price and spending trends, compensation, productivity and health, inflation, and pay and benefits. Of the major resources used by the BLS to determine the state of the economy, the Consumer Price Index, referred to as the CPI, is perhaps one of the most watched. The BLS generates the CPI, which is one of the most frequently used statistics for calculating as well as predicting periods of inflation and deflation. Typically, large rises in the CPI over short periods of time denote inflation, while large drops in the same signal deflation. The Consumer Price Index produces monthly data on changes in the prices paid by urban consumers for a representative basket of goods and services. Indexes are available for major groups of consumer expenditures, such as food and beverages, housing, apparel, transportation, medical care, recreation, education, and communications. Indexes are also available for items within each of these groups, as well as for special categories such as services. Going further, indexes are available for two population groups: a CPI for all urban consumers, covering around 87% of the total population, and a CPI for urban wage earners, which covers 32% of the population. The CPI represents any changes in all goods and services which are purchased for consumption by an urban household of 4. However, projected numbers recorded by the CPI do not account for either income tax or investment spending. Since 1985, economists have used the index to set the federal income tax structure, as otherwise taxes would be prompted to increase based on inflation. The Bureau of Labor Statistics uses the CPI as an economic indicator. As said earlier, being a widely used measure of inflation, the CPI is an indicator of the effectiveness of government policy. In addition, business executives and other citizens use the index as a guide in making economic decisions. Similar to the CPI, the BLS also maintains the Producer Price Index, which tracks the market basket of goods. Unlike the CPI, however, it tracks the prices firms receive for goods and services at all stages of their production. The PPI may serve as an early indicator of changes within the CPI, as increases in costs for producers may lead to an increased cost for consumers to purchase these products. The Producer Price Index includes over 25,000 establishments, providing somewhere near 100,000 price quotations per month for specialized products. The goods and services included in the PPI are weighted by value of shipment data contained in the 2007 economic censuses. Further, industries and products undergo systematic resampling as needed in order to account for changing market conditions. The PPI is used to capture price movement prior to the retail level. Therefore, they may foreshadow price changes for business and consumers. The President, Congress, and the Fed employ these data in formulating fiscal and monetary policies. Consideration of current and future trends in employment and unemployment are another large area emphasized by data and research conducted within the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The BLS relies on two surveys to determine employment numbers: the Establishment Survey, which provides measures of the total numbers of persons both employed and on a company payroll, and the Household Survey, sampling 60,000 households in order to determine employment status of all individuals 16 and older within the household. Unemployment refers to a person not currently holding a job, but having looked within the previous 4 weeks and being available for work. The unemployment rate represents the number of people unemployed as a percent of the total labor force. Furthermore, the labor force participation rate is a percentage of the working age population in the labor force. According to a BLS economic news release on regional and state unemployment in 2015, annual average unemployment was said to decrease in 47 states, while it increased in 2. When speaking of unemployment, it is important to recognize that it arises in 3 types, being cyclical, frictional, and structural. Cyclical unemployment occurs due to the ups and downs of the economy over time. When the economy enters a recessionary period,
Many of the lost jobs are considered to be a result of cyclical unemployment. Frictional unemployment refers to the time period between jobs when a worker is searching for or transferring from one job to another. It is commonly referred to as search unemployment and can be based on circumstances of the unemployed individual. Lastly, structural unemployment is caused by a mismatch between the skills that workers within the economy can offer and the skills demanded of workers by their employers. This is known as the skill gap. Oftentimes, workers must retrain or go back to school in order to become proficient in needed skills.
In conclusion, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, ran under the U.S. Department of Labor, is the principal federal agency held responsible for measuring labor market activities, working conditions, and price changes within the economy. Its mission being to collect, analyze, and evaluate economic information in order to support public and private decision-making.